Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Nick Alred, welcome to ATV-TALK. How are you, bud?
I'm doing great, Leonard. How are you?
Just another day in paradise here in roasting Southern California. I know the Arizona people are going, yeah, that guy doesn't know what heat is. Well, it's about 110 in my studio with no air conditioning, because we just, unfortunately, the way it's set up, we can't do air. One, it makes too much noise. Yes, we will get it figured out in the future, but right now it is what it is. So enjoy temperatures and let's talk ATVs and motorcycles. How's that?
That would be great. That would be great.
You know, Nick, let's fill everybody in a little bit about who you are and what you do, you know, and a little bit about your background in motorsports.
So I grew up, my dad raced cars and we had motorcycles when I was young. Nothing too exotic. I had a 1972 Yamaha 100 two-stroke Enduro that was a challenge to start at times. And that's probably what started my love affair with Hondas was that old Yamaha.
Okay.
But yeah, grew up kind of around it, and then in high school started running with a crowd that flat tracked on Saturday nights, and kind of got the itch and the bug to start racing, and then got out of high school and bought a 400 EX, and the racing bug bit me.
So you guys spend a lot of time flat track racing up there in the north?
It was the one thing we could do in the wintertime. And I know when Timmy was on, he talked about that old airplane hangar that we raced in. And my introduction to that was flat track races on Saturday nights.
Nice.
So, and then it evolved into me racing motocross out there. So, yeah.
And did you race the like a indoor motocross, or was it outdoor motocross?
It was indoor. And yeah, Don Morris, the guy that would put the track together, he had to get inventive. A lot of the jumps, you'd come down below grade to be able to make a jump, for him to make a jump. So they wouldn't let him bring in dirt. So he got really creative with the track, and it was some really good times out there. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many years did you do that?
Oh, shoot. It was, I think I started racing in 01 very casually. And then 02, 03, 04 I got hurt in 05 and took 05 to 06 off, and then picked it back up 07, 08, but then kind of got out of it then when the economy tanked and
right,
things went not so good for a while. But yeah, so I raced out.
Go ahead.
Oh, I raced out there quite a bit. I would race motocross flat track at the Oakwood Arena, it was called. But if there was a race in Washington, I was at them quite often.
So you've heard of the guy that came from your state that probably set the ATV industry on fire, right?
Oh, yes.
Who hasn't?
Oh, yes. Right. Yeah, that was I was at that Washougal mud race with the completely wrong setup because I heard motocross track. And yeah, I watched Doug put on a clinic.
You know, we had two machines sitting there, both disassembled, waiting for the weather to break one way or the other. And and waiting for Doug to pick which bike.
Oh, wow.
And ultimately, it came down to the fastest one to get ready to ride was the KFX 700. I only had to put in like, 30, 40 minutes to get it race ready versus
Wow.
we were racing KFX 400s that year and I
Hmm.
had to weatherproof it. And I hadn't even really started it because they kept telling us the weather was going to break.
Oh, wow.
And, you've lived in Washington. One minute it's sunny, the next minute it's raining, and you don't know what's going to happen. And
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot of
you
people
go
don't
outside.
realize that ATV made it on the cover of the motorcycle magazine.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Kawasaki ran a big ad.
Yeah.
All freaking cycle news. It was all badass, bitching, big centerfold in there.
Hmm.
Not everybody, I mean, I don't even know if we still have a copy of it, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun time to be a part of. And I'll have to send you the picture. It's Ty Morris, Tim Shellman, and me before the mud started flinging. And we're all about 25 years younger. And it's a riot to see. I sent it to Timmy the other day. I said, remember these kids? And we had a good chuckle.
That's that I keep forgetting that Tim was around back then, just not the Timmy that everybody knows. He was learning how to race and trying to race
Yeah.
Banshee at one point.
That
Yeah,
Banshee was something else. It was wild.
it was.
Yeah.
How many times did you get to race Washougal?
Um, I raced it as far as works goes. Shoot, I tried to make every works race that was there. And then we also had up here they called it a Top Gun shootout where the dealers would put teams together and they'd have races at Washougal. So I think I raced it probably 5 or 6 times. I raced it.
With all of your friends up there in Washington and all the people that have traveled that track in all the years, isn't it a little weird to watch an outdoor motocross track there?
It is. It's
Watch
it's it's weird to see it and have been on a track and know what I did in that spot.
Right, right. I don't remember it as well as everybody else. Um, but the first year we got to run WORCS in '02, that was
Mhm.
like the highlight of the race in Washougal.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I show my wife, hey, I got to race here. She's like, oh yeah, whatever.
Hmm.
Not as big of a thrill. I just know that with Doug's friends and the people that I got to meet up there in Washington, everybody, it was a big deal to have gotten to ride Washougal.
Right, right. Yeah, it absolutely was because they didn't let quads out there very often. So you had to capitalize on it when the opportunity was there.
They don't. They still have practice days, but they have zero ATV practice days, right?
Yeah, I don't. Every once in a while, I think Quad Cross Northwest still gets back out there, but I'm not sure if they went there this year.
Yeah, but I don't think they get a practice day. They may get to race
No.
there, but you
Yeah,
don't get
it's
the ATV practice days.
it's race only. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I was told that one of the current, well, it might be past, but one of the major motocross guys, racers, lives within earshot of the track. Even though the people complain, he still lives there and rides the track when he can.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much about what's going on down there as of late. I've been my my journey back to quads started almost a year ago to the day from today. So it's been quite a pinch me moment. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting back into it and getting reacquainted with all my old quad racing friends and making new ones. So, but yeah, no, I sure what's going on at Washougal. I sure wish they let us out there some more because it's fun.
Right. You had your last WORCS race in 2011.
Yes,
And what class was that?
I believe it was one of the stock classes, and I was on a bone stock YFZ 450, and
What race was it?
it was the Washougal race of all races. So,
I already have the answers. I just want to hear you talk about it.
so what it was is it's a funny story. My wife, she'd never been to a race. She didn't know what to expect. And I'm like, hey, Works is coming to Washougal. We should go. And I when I met her, I'd never been around kids. So I've got three great step kids. And of course, they're young and they want to come to the races to watch this crazy guy their mom married do crazy stuff on an ATV. And I might have sold myself as to how fast I was or how great I am. But, they didn't know any better. So I just rolled with it. Uh, but they each brought a friend. We brought the dogs. We looked like the Clampets showing up. It was, we had this great big pit operation. And yeah, I rode for 45 minutes that day and packed it all up and went home. But it sure was fun. It was fun to get the win. So
What did it mean for you back then?
it was, it was something to get a win. It works back then was huge. And it was something I'd always wanted, and it always had kind of evaded me. And there was always a little rivalry between my brother and I around being on the podium at Works. So I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a race at Payette, Idaho for Works.
Yeah, I
And there
remember.
were the two Cannondale, they're not Cannondale, Can-Am UT utility quads. And there
Okay.
was there was a crazy kid on a bone stock Kodiak that got third against those Can-Ams, those factory Can-Ams. Well, the kid on the Kodiak was my little brother. So
Okay.
until I podiumed at at a work race, I had to hear him every Thanksgiving, every birthday, everything. Well, I got a top three at Works, and I'm not even a racer. So, and he's out there with his gun rack and his lights and his winch. Try. There were only three people in the class, so it does.
Doesn't say that in the history books.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It says Darren Allred, UTV top three. But
Right.
yeah, it was a long-standing kind of joke between him and I. So I finally got to put that to bed because I got a number one plate from my class. So, but it's
So how is it during Thanksgiving now?
oh, it's great. It's great. Now we talk about fishing. So
Well, let me ask you this off
uh-huh.
topic. The fishing's got to be
Okay,
pretty awesome up there.
it is. It is. We go out to the peninsula 3 times a winter, and I do quite a bit of fishing during the winter.
How far away from Washougal or how close to the coast are you guys?
Um, I'm directly north of Washougal. I'm about an hour and a half, 2 hours north. So I'm kind of like 2/3 of the way to Tacoma from
Okay.
Washougal. So I'm about a half hour, 45 minutes south of Tacoma.
So whereabouts is the gorge located?
That's about 2.5 hours east from
Oh,
me.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
semi familiar with how to get from the coast to the gorge.
Okay.
And, you know, the one thing we spent, I don't even know how many summers up there racing, and
Oh
not
yeah.
once did we ever make it to the river to ride skis.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
there's,
There's.
you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. We'd always roll out early in the morning and roll in when it was getting too dark to go ski.
Yeah.
So I,
Well, you got a standing invitation. Anytime you want to come fishing up here, come on up.
well, there's lots of people up there that I want to come and see. I just, it's just work, man. I'm busy all the time. You know
Oh
how
yeah.
it is.
Oh
Life
yeah.
just keeps rolling.
Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
there's a couple things here about your time stepping away, and I'd like to get your interpretation of, because you stepped away after 2011, and then there was
Hmm.
life happened, and I want you to get into that story if you don't mind.
Oh yeah. So that last race was 2011. Um, I thought that I had um injured my back and I was kind of on borrowed time. And I took up any hobby I could to try and replace quad racing. I I raced RC cars. I tried golf. And it was actually golf that got me back into ATVs. Um,
How does, wait a minute, how does golf get you back into ATVs?
so I went to physical therapy because my back would start hurting about 3/4 of the way through the summer of golfing. And what I thought was discs or, degenerative this or that turned out to be me just sitting on the couch too much and needing to work my hip flexors. so, so I put down the cheeseburgers, put down the silver bullets, and started working out. And then it was, uh, yeah, like I said, like a year to the day, I had this realization that, like, oh, well, I quit racing because I thought I had a bad back. I don't have a bad back. I've got weak hip flexors. I don't have to give up racing. So then my wife goes out of town and I'm bored sitting at home and I'm like, there's this podcast. What was that podcast? And so I pull up your podcast and I listened to the first episode. And then I'm like, okay, if he's talking about this and talking about that, Lenny's got to have interviewed Timmy. So I find Tim's interview and I immediately, I'm on the floor busting a gut. And I text him, haven't talked to him in a couple of years, text him. I'm like, this is comedy gold. I'm on the floor in tears, laughing. And we start texting back and forth. One thing leads to another, and I'm at his house buying a bike.
What did Mama say about that?
You know, she was all for it because the one thing my wife's great about is if she can kind of filter out when it's a flash in the pan thing, when it's a hobby that's going to be fleeting, and she knows when it's something real. She's got a pretty good intuition. And she said, do it as safely as you can, and I'll support you 100%. So,
That's a good wife right there, buddy.
oh, I won the lottery. I won the wife lottery Lenny, I'm married so far above out of my league. It's funny because yeah, she's absolutely amazing.
I think there's a lot of us that say that, you know, I mean,
Oh yeah,
I believe that God came down and says, you know what? You need this in your life. Bing.
100%, 100%. So I've been I've been so fortunate and so blessed that it's this last year's just been a pinch me. Everything's been a pinch me moment. So
Nice. How did
yeah,
you find out about the podcast?
it was. I saw somebody post on Facebook about it, and then I started searching and found it on Spotify and listened to Timmy, and then it turned into it was I would just binge it all day at work, and then I would yeah, the Shane Hitt and Joe Bird interviews. It's like, oh my goodness, these are my heroes. Like, how cool is this? You know? And then yeah, to get the whole picture painted of the whole sport, and the behind the scenes stuff and the stuff that you didn't get to read about in magazines was just cool. And then yeah, those early episodes, I'm gonna be a little bit of a fan for a minute here, but so bear with me. But those early episodes, you used to say it could be your story one day. And I took that to heart, and it's really turned into that. Like, I didn't think a year ago that I'd be, sitting down for one of these talking to you. And here I am. And it's like, how wild is this? So it's just, yeah, the whole year's been a pinch me moment. Meeting Jason and Ian and those guys, craziness.
And then, this is the part about ATVs that any outsider, I don't think they really get it until they become an insider. And an insider is just somebody that's involved. You can be a pit crew person, you can be a recreational guy that's just showed up,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just have met some people that are ATVers, and you may not even be riding it. You may just be there.
Right.
Now you're inside the group. And that's the great thing about the ATV world, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Jason and Ian, great guys. I enjoy them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are unbelievable guys. And yeah, it's shocking to me how approachable everybody still is, because that's what I missed the most about the whole thing was that sense of community. When I started racing, I was on a stock bike, and somebody would have wheel spacers. Hey, try these. We upgraded to axles and A arms. Try these spacers. And it was like this sense of community. We'd go out of town for a race and it was a potluck, and everybody would bring something. Or, there were out of town races that we'd plan all year for, and it was a big event. And it was that sense of community. I missed it. And getting back to it now, it's like, everybody's a little bit more spread out, but they're still just as approachable. That
You
was
know, when you met Jason and Ian, talk a little bit
mhm.
about that Silver State 300. Are you looking for the best suspension technology for your sport ATV? Look no further than Elka Suspension, the industry leader in sport ATV suspension technology. With championship wins in prestigious events such as the Dakar Rally, SCORE, Best in the Desert, ATV MX, Cross Country, and WORCS, Elka Suspension has established itself as the go-to choice for athletes and enthusiasts alike. But they don't just stop at ATVs. They're constantly expanding into new markets, including UTVs, trucks, SUVs, pit bikes, snowmobiles, and more. Their commitment to innovation and quality means they're always looking to improve and adapt so you can enjoy a smooth ride wherever you go. Want to learn more about what Elka Suspension can do for you? Visit their website at elkasuspension.com or give them a call at 450-655-4855. They will always be happy to answer your questions and help you find the perfect suspension solution for your needs.
So I heard their episode on the podcast, and Jason loves to talk. So one of the things he said was, hey, feel free to reach out. So I messaged him on Instagram. I said, hey, I want to support the cause. I love what you're doing. I'd like to buy a T-shirt, and he responded with, here's the link, and if you ever want to talk about desert racing, give me a call. So I had a long commute home, and I called him, and the conversation ended with, hey, why don't you come down and chase for us at the Silver State? So I went in, sat down, looked at my wife, and she goes, how was your day? I said, the guy that I told you about, the desert racer guy? Oh, yeah. I said, well, I talked to him for 2.5 hours tonight. Oh, wow. She said, how'd that go? And I said, really good. I go, what do you think about going to Las Vegas to check out desert racing? And my wife, being great like she is, says, now, wait a minute. Before you go spend a bunch of money on your bike, you want to go check it out. See what this chase crew's all about, see what it takes to pull off the race. And I get to spend a couple days by the swimming pool in sunny Las Vegas when it's raining in Washington. I said, absolutely. She goes, well, tell them you'll do it, so. So we loaded up, we took we planned a vacation about, 5 or 6 days on either side of Silver State, put the race in the middle of it, and yeah, showed up down there and got to chase with those guys and see what the desert was all about. And it was a lot of fun, and it was really great to meet those guys. And yeah, it was kind of cool what we got to do for Adam while we were down there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's great. What about the KTM?
So that was another wild story. Like I said, this whole year has been pinch me moments. So Jason sends me a link and says, hey, I know you want to help veterans, and you're helping us out. Check these guys out. And it was a link to enter a raffle for this KTM. And I said, $100 for the veterans, I'm in. Like, I'm all about it. So I enter the raffle, don't think anything about it. They're on the East Coast somewhere. I didn't know where at the time. And we were actually, the night that they had the drawing, we were at my car club's charity auction, and we're ringing people out and collecting money for a local charity that gives quite a bit of money back to the community. And I get a text from Scars and Stripes, and it was Gary, and he says, hey man, just wanted to let you know you won the dirt bike. And I'm like, I look at the wife, I said, hey, I just won a dirt bike. And she's looking around thinking I got it there. And she's like, what? Where? And I'm like, no, online. I entered a raffle. And she's like, well, call and tell him you'll give it back. she says, she goes, where's it at? I said, it could be Connecticut, Massachusetts, West Virginia. I don't know. It's on the East Coast somewhere. And she goes, yeah, just donate it back. Just donate it back. And I'm like, hold on. Let's figure out what it's going to take to get it out here. And luckily, one of my local buddies has family in Connecticut, and he happened to be back there visiting. And he was able to get the bike, and it made its way to the West Coast, and he was able to drop it off at Ian's. And that's where we started doing the desert upgrades for it, so that Adam would have a Guardian Angel bike.
Awesome. Yeah, we still
Yeah,
haven't worked that out with Adam. One of these days we're gonna have to get that whole group together and go do that.
that would be so much fun. Yeah, he was just up here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I enjoy talking to Adam. He's a lot of fun.
He is. And I had the plan to give Adam the bike, but I didn't tell Jason and Ian until the morning of tech and contingency at the Silver State. So Ian just thought he was bolting parts on my bike for me. He had no idea the whole time. And then when I finally met him in person, I said, "Hey, I'm giving the bike to Adam later." And then that was, I kind of wanted to keep things a secret for as long as I could. But
That's so cool.
yeah,
So
yeah.
cool.
And it was, we ended up in Adam's garage the morning before tech and contingency, working on the bike that Jason and Ian and Rob raced at Silver State, and meeting Adam, and just he's such a good dude. He's such a good guy that it's like this is absolutely the right thing to do. So
What'd your wife think of that?
she was 100% on board. She loved it. She thought that was cool, and she was right there with us the whole time, swapping motors in a bike. And then later that night, when Mike and the crew from Metcon showed up with the A arms and swing arms, she was sitting in the bed of the truck in her chair. Hey, you guys, make sure you grab something to drink, eat a snack, stay hydrated. It's hot. She's a trooper. I'm lucky. She's just, you know, she's willing to go on these wild and crazy adventures and just, make sure everybody's fed. And,
How old are your guys' kids now?
oh boy, I'm gonna screw this up, Lenny. Um, oh shoot. The oldest is, I think, 34.
Oh, wow.
The youngest is 23 or 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys
Yeah.
are free to travel without them.
Oh yeah. 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 And they're welcome to come along anytime, but it works out that they don't, because the running joke is that we have the world's worst petting zoo with 4 dogs.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Hey, they got big dogs or little dogs?
For a while it was a mix of both, but we've got one retired racing greyhound and then 3 little dogs.
We got freaking 5 little ones.
Oh boy.
All 5 of my dogs don't weigh 40 pounds. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. Yep.
I think we have 2 that might weigh a pound apiece.
Oh geez.
Yeah, they're little, little.
Oh yeah.
My wife, she kept showing me pictures, and I'm just thinking she's showing me pictures.
Hmm.
I'm not expecting them to come home with her. But knowing my wife, and hindsight being what it is, she was just setting me up.
Oh yeah.
The best thing about it was there were 3 of them at the time. One of them was given away the day
Hmm.
before she went to take care of these. She's a home caregiver.
Oh, okay.
And the day before she goes to this house to take care of this lady, they gave one of the dogs away. Thank God. Or we'd have
Wow.
had 6. And these little dogs have more energy than I will ever have.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But
Yep.
we don't want to talk about dogs. We want to talk about ATVs and motorcycles.
Oh yeah.
You guys did some preparations for Vegas to Reno, if I'm not mistaken.
We did. We did. There was some testing with the Metcon crew and that bike that they were building. That was a fun experience to be a part of. That
Yeah.
was yeah, I wasn't prepared for how how extensive of a project those guys were willing to take on, and they really dug deep and tried some new stuff, and it was cool to get to test it and ride it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think the big contrast between racing now and the machines that they have now between what it was like when you were in your 20s?
You know, the machines, unfortunately, I'm still on a Honda, so the machines haven't changed that much. The big realization for me was what pro quad racer means. Learning that. And it's I'm going to say it out loud and you'll be like, well, duh. And that's what I did when I when I had the realization. But pro short for professional. And it's not just a fast rider. It's how you show up and how you prepare and everything you do. And realizing that maybe I'm not the fastest guy at the track, but maybe I can be the most well prepared guy at the track. And that's the difference. That that was a game changer for me because of being an adult and looking at things through a different lens and not being young and hungry and thinking it was all about go fast. It's still about go fast, don't get me wrong, but it's
So
definitely a shift in mindset.
that's what I was looking for right there. The difference in the experience with the mindset, the nerves, and and the gratitude, things like that
Hmm.
change the whole game when you're older.
Right, right. It would, like when I was younger, it used to be more. I always tried to ride smart, but I would say younger, how I did things was a lot more raw and unrefined. And now being older, I could settle in and settle down and I see things evolve more. And I see things kind of coming. It's almost like things are coming in slow motion. Fourth gear pin, still fourth gear pin, but oh, this is coming. Like I can enjoy it and take it in and embrace it more as opposed to, kind of bouncing off of everything and just, you know, giving her heck, you know. So
Right. Right. So it sounds like you're graduating into more of the desert racing, and probably going to move away from some of the local stuff up in Washington.
yeah. The I've always been a series guy. So if I'm gonna run it, I'm gonna run a series. I go out, I love going after series championships. So right now for me, the focus is gonna be the best in the desert stuff. It's uh it's a lot more doable for me. Originally I had thought I would go back to works and do that series, but there's just to get the time off of work that would take, there's just no way to pull it off. I mean, my employer's great. They're, take the time off you need, go chase your dreams, but I still got to be at work to afford the racing. So, you know, 10 works races living in Alaska South, it's not feasible where best in the desert 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah, no problem.
Alaska South. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, just because Washington, everybody thinks we're out at the edge of the world.
Yeah. Now I
you
get
know,
it.
yeah.
How far from Goldendale are you?
I am, that's about 3.5 hours from me.
East, right?
Yep. Yeah, southeast.
So
And
you're
that,
you're way up there,
yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah.
So every works race for you, probably even Idaho's a drive.
The last works race in Idaho was 17 hours from me.
Yeah, and everything else is 20 some hours plus.
Ex- Exactly. Yeah. Well, this will help you out. So I can be at Kenny Sanford's in 20 minutes. So that
Okay.
might give you some idea where I'm at.
Um, what's the name of the town they live in?
They're into I think they would consider themselves Tacoma. I'm not positive.
It's not. There's a special name for it. I've been there. I didn't know they
Uh,
were there at the time, but I've been.
uh, Parkland Summit. I'm trying to think where their where their where their operation is. Yeah, there's little you know, kind of subdivisions or whatever you want to call it, little
Little small
neighborhoods.
town. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I've spent that time up there in Oregon and Washington,
Hmm.
where you cross the. I can't remember the name of the highway, but you'd cross the freeway or the bridge, giant bridge into Oregon, and then
Hmm.
Tri Cities was right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Coming out of the Dalles right there.
But
Yep.
I spent a little bit of time up there. So
Yeah. Yeah, because Works
beautiful
went to
country in
Golden
the
Dale.
summertime. Beautiful country in the summertime, dude. Just you just don't want to be there in the winter.
No. And unfortunately, the winter starts in about 3 more weeks and goes until July 5th. The only thing that's great about our winter is it's 50 and gray that whole time. You know, 3 days it might snow, but it's just 50 and gray and it's super predictable. So,
Yeah, it's okay. It still rains
yeah,
too much for me.
right, right.
So what's
Yeah.
next on the calendar for you?
Laughlin. Laughlin's coming up. I'm going to try and get some practicing in. Had a little get off this last weekend at the house. So, got a little shoulder. I got a little shoulder problem I got to get looked at, but I think I'll be back in time for Laughlin. So
You're gonna be riding your own bike or are you teaming with somebody?
I'm going to be riding with Jason and Rob. So Jason invited me to be on Team Blind with him, and yeah, to be a part of that group is just it's so cool. And yeah, how do you say no?
Right, right.
Yeah.
One of these
So
days I'll figure out my schedule and I'll be able to come to an event and spend some time with you guys.
oh, you got to, you got to. We'd love to have you, and yeah, to get your input would be great because it's a good time. I didn't realize the desert was so much fun and what a great community the whole scene is. Whether it's the guys in the 6100 trucks or the side by side classes or the dirt bike guys or the quad guys, everybody's just so friendly and they'll shake your hand, ask you how you're doing. They see you on the track. Do you need anything? I mean, you know this. You're still in the sport. You see it, but it was shocking for me to see.
That's there again, the off-road community, especially when you get into the desert community, these
Yeah,
people are great because it is kind of life and death. If somebody's having a problem out there, you got to make sure they're okay.
yeah,
You may
yeah.
not, they may not need you, or they may not stop, but if you give them the thumbs up and they go on, they know they've done
Hmm.
what they're supposed to do. And
Oh yeah.
you don't get that kind of. Are you ready to be captivated by one of nature's masterpieces? Discover the breathtaking beauty of Antelope Slot Canyon, a natural wonder in Page, Arizona. Join us on a guided tour and immerse yourself in the mystical light beams, rich colors, and serene landscapes. With tours at prime sunbeam hours, experience photographer's paradise and capture memories that will last a lifetime. Comfortable shoes, a camera, and a smile are all you need for this adventure. Book your journey today at Antelope Slot Canyon Tours and let the canyon enchant you. Please visit us now, antelopeslotcanyon.com, for more details. Camaraderie, I don't think in many other sports.
No, no. It was this last Vegas to Reno. there was a guy that came in, Japanese Ironman rider on a KTM. Couldn't find his pit crew, and I pointed at his gas tank. I said, "Do you need gas?" And he nodded his head, yes. So I didn't have any gas in my dump can yet, but I grabbed the dump can, had my wife put it push it down. I took the cap off the top and was dumping gas through the dump can and filled his bike up and got him going. And right about the time we got him full, his pit crew showed up and they sprayed some chain lube on his bike and away he went. But just that help and that sense of camaraderie. It's so much fun. I enjoy it. I
He
enjoy
will tell, he will tell that story for the rest of his life.
it. I know I will because they're like, I was telling Jason and the boys, I'm like, you wouldn't have believed it. And they're like, what? I'm like, we use the dump can as like a transfer. I'm standing in the bed of the truck to get enough height to make it all happen. And we're just laughing, It was fun. But yeah, the
I would have to say
hospitality.
is that your favorite recent race moment?
You know, that one, and then at Silver State, they asked us to go to the remote pit to pit for Jason and the guys. And there was a team that didn't have anybody out there. And so my wife and I, we stay and we're hanging out, and it's like, we're not leaving this last quad rider. And just there's a little dot on the horizon I can barely see. And here comes a quad. And I flag him down, get him into the pits. And he goes, I go, "We're your pit crew." He's like, "I've never been so happy to see people in my life." And got him an orange juice and a snack, dumped some water on him, checked the oil, filled the bike up, and away he went. And we watched him. Dallas is his first name. I think it's Raditz is how you say his last name. But it was just cool to help somebody you don't know and then be there at the finish line and see them cross the finish line and know that you helped with that. That was probably that was my most favorite recent memory.
That's what it's all about. And not everybody gets to experience it. Anybody that races desert or spends time racing desert has a memory like that, either when they're a racer or when they're a chase crew person.
Yeah,
It's really, really fun.
it is.
What keeps you stoked about racing?
That it's always new challenges. There's always something to learn. And there's always a process you can refine. There's always a way. There's always some little tweak you can make. And it's almost like you're unlocking a puzzle or cracking a code. And I when I was younger, I wanted to be one of the oldest guys doing it. And so if I can keep it fun and keep my health up, I'm gonna keep after it because it's probably more fun now than it was then.
I think because I think you'll agree to that. I think it's because you understand what it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I thought I lost it too. I thought I lost it.
One of the reasons I kept doing it for so long is because I knew that the day I stopped traveling, not necessarily racing, but the day I stopped traveling,
Hmm.
that was it. That was going to be it. It wasn't going to be a second try.
Right,
I mean,
right.
there were multiple changes in that journey, but once you actually stop,
Hmm.
it doesn't come back.
No, no. And
Well, when you're young, it does, but when you're older, when you're in your 50s or getting close to 60 and you stop, yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, I don't know how many years I got left doing it, but I used to be really bitter towards the time I missed. And then I realized that missing that time, I missed a lot of the injuries that a lot of people got. And so, I had a hard get off in '05 at Goldendale. And, that was kind of where things started slowing down for my racing. But then coming back to it, it's like, I got a lot to be thankful for because I missed that window in there where I knock on wood, I didn't have the knee surgeries and I didn't have, this and that. So I count, I consider myself pretty lucky. And I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off and just do it with a smile on my face and appreciate every minute.
I agree. You got to make it fun. You got to have a good time doing it because when it's over, it's over. And if you're not having a good time, you shouldn't do it at all.
Right, right. And this is so much dang fun, and to do it now with the grown up perspective, if you will, to truly appreciate it and truly know what it means, and to have some of my personal dreams coming true. It's like, holy smokes! It's you know the whole year's been this whole last year's been a pinch me moment, and I can't wait to see what happens next year. I can't wait to see what happens next because
You think you could come to, do you think you're going to be able to drag Tim Shellman out of retirement to come ride with you guys?
you know I I will work on hit if they let handlebars at the mint. If quads can show up at the mint after this announcement with Best in the Desert, I would I will work on Tim as hard as I can to get him out there.
Right. I think that's great. I really do.
Yeah. I would love one more race with Tim. I still have the trophy from the one and only time I beat him, and it might have been a gimme, but I'm gonna take it. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Um, on a serious note,
yeah.
being that you're not a spring chicken anymore, and
Hmm.
you've got this revitalization later in life,
Hmm.
what would you tell, you know, the guys that are thinking about it, or maybe they're in their early mid 40s, maybe their early 50s, and they're thinking about riding again? What kind of advice could you give them?
I would say don't be scared to reach out to anybody in the community. Everybody's approachable and everybody's willing to talk. If you're going to race, be honest with your sponsors. That was one of the things that I did that really helped me. Liette was great. I reached out to them and said, I want to race. I want to be as safe as I possibly can. And I can't do either without your help. And they stepped up. And I was just straight with them. I haven't been on a bike since 2011. Be honest. Be honest with your sponsors. Be honest with yourself. Hey, this is what I can commit to. This is what I want to do. And, if you just want it to be fun, have it be fun, but be honest. Be honest with yourself about what your expectations are.
And it's got
And
to be fun.
it's got to be fun. And just do it. It's not the hardest part is loading up that new bike and bringing it home. Like that's the hardest step to take is which one do you get, you know? And but yeah, have fun, enjoy it. You're never too old. It's never too late. Do it, you know, do
What do
it.
you think, based on the short knowledge you have of racing, what do you
Mm-mm.
think the next best desert platform is going to be. We can't keep racing Hondas because the
I
parts are
think I think you've I think you've said it. I think it's the Raptor.
I do
I
too.
th- I think it's the Raptor. And after what I saw at Vegas to Reno, I think if you wanted to come race in the desert for the expert or an amateur class, I think a set of flex bars and some heel guards, and that machine is capable. From what I saw, it was unbelievable what a stock machine did. Get the gearing where you want it, do some creature comfort stuff, and enjoy. And then when you're ready to go fast, that's where you could start making some changes. But it doesn't, the guys that were successful on them, they weren't nearly as into them as deep as the Hondas. I don't think.
I agree. You'll still to build a pro level bike, it's still going to
Mhm.
cost you. But you
Right.
buy a 2015, make sure the motor's in good condition, and probably spend $6,000 or $7,000 less for the machine than you would buying it brand new
Right.
and build it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
It,
something,
go ahead.
is that a platform that you could do in stages?
Yes and no. I don't think you want to go race desert with the stock suspension.
Okay.
And the fuel injection system has to have some type of device to tune it, whether you go to a standalone ECU or you're using a piggyback system. All your
Okay.
piggyback systems need laptops and dynos.
Oh, geez.
Your
Okay.
standalone ECU does not. Um, Pick an exhaust, pick an intake, pick your device, uh,
Hmm.
put some suspension on there, and go ride it.
Yeah.
That box, the mile an hour, with 23s in the front and 22s in the rear, the mile an hour is already higher than it is on your built Honda.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And get this, everybody goes, "Oh, it's so heavy, it's so heavy." Yes, the motor's a little taller, so you have a little
Hmm.
more height, but when you dress it out with suspension, the height isn't near the issue that you think it is. They make gas tanks for it with dry brakes. We used to not be able to get them. Now I can get
Okay.
them from Europe, no problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we sourced them from Europe. Um,
Wow.
I'm not going to buy one just to buy one. But we're working on
Right.
some deals to possibly build some of these machines, and
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
Love,
be,
I would love to roll a couple of those out to the starting line. Um, One of the problems is what my level of thinking the machine should be at and what other people's are.
hmm.
I think that's where the problem lies. If you shortcut it, you're going to have a problem.
Right.
You
Right.
have to build it correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's where there is definitely an elevated level in the desert because there is so much at stake there because it's a grind and it's got to be you need a machine that'll grind, that'll go the distance. And that's
I agree.
it's hard to it's there's a lot there's a lot to control. There's a lot to think about in the desert because it's not a sprint. It's not 45 minutes at an amateur class works race. It's, Vegas to Reno's 500 miles and you got to think of everything. And you,
Right, you do. And I see a lot of green desert race teams.
mhm.
Um, Man, the guys that know are still in the industry. All you have to
Right.
do is reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I understand that it's expensive.
Hmm.
We're still all here, and you're
Right.
not going to make the wheel any rounder than it already is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, I was sitting at pit two when Jason radioed in with the mechanical, and I the, whatever the check was to fix the problem, I'd have wrote it at that point. I just wanted on the bike so dang bad. It's like, what do we got to do to make sure nothing like this ever happens again? Because I want on the bike and I want on the podium. So what do we got to do? You know,
That's a conversation we can have off air.
absolutely. But, yeah, I was telling my wife, look at Facebook Marketplace, find us a motor, find us a quad, find us I don't care what you find. I'll ride a John Deere riding lawnmower. I don't care. I'm finishing this race.
Man, them Can-Ams are pretty fast.
Oh, I got a buddy that stepped away from a Honda 450 to what is it, to Renegade? It's kind of the sportier of them.
Yep.
And he told me, he goes, this thing's way more comfortable than a 450 ever was. It's got way more power. I can go everywhere the kids go. And I'm not trying nearly as hard. And he just loves it.
Well, I got to go to the Can-Am intro in Canada this year, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Gen 3 version. I didn't get to ride the Renegade version, but the Outlander, it was a great bike. I could see myself riding one of those. Maybe not racing one, but riding one aggressively, in the trails and stuff. It was just a lot of fun. I had a blast. If my broken body can do it, everybody can do it.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.